Hey there, guys! Today I wanted to go over talking about Valve's upcoming product because I have already I've already cast my reservation slash pre-order, which is just like a $5. Now, for those out there who do not know, uh, Valve's upcoming product is known as the Steam Deck. And there's 3 tiers, and this product or this handheld device, it's a gaming handheld device. God, if I can speak today. And with this device, it functions pretty much as a portable PC. And the cool thing about it is that, it will definitely run Windows if you decide to run Windows, but it's basically pre-installed with a Linux Proton something something. And that's the UI that Valve is going for. Now, you don't actually have to, have to keep the pre-installed UI. You can totally swap it out for Windows 10 if you so desire to. And the cool thing is, again, as I said, you can take it on the go with you. So it's pretty much a Nintendo Switch, except that it's made by Valve and it's not a Nintendo product. Now, there's 3 different models. There's the entry model, which is 64 gigabytes. The mid-tier one, it's 264 gigabytes or 262. I forget the actual amount, but 200 something gigabytes. And then there's the 512 gigabytes, which comes with a little more extra stuff along with it. All 3 of the models will come with a carrying case, and the only difference is that the 64 gigabyte has, I think, like I forget what it is, an MME SD card or something. But I definitely know the other 2 models have like an NVMe SD card. So yeah, they'll run with an SSD essentially. And the other thing too is you can, because of that, the fact is that they don't have like a lot of gigabytes, unlike a gaming PC where you can basically pretty much, if you have like let's say you have like a 3 terabyte hard drive, you can install more storage. So that's the thing. But what you can do is you can go online and get some of these third-party micro SD cards, and that will actually add more to whichever model you decide to go with. For me, I'm going to be getting the mid-tier model because obviously I play a lot of JRPG games, and there's actually something I actually found out this morning. So there's a site called Check My Deck, and what it is it will check what games you currently have that are actually compatible with Steam Deck. Now, these are basically verified compatibility games. Now, not every single game may work because currently Valve is still trying to figure out out of all their games in the catalog of which games are compatible and which are not yet. But that will pretty much change if you install, I think, the Windows 10. And the other thing too is you can also install emulators as well. And for me, since I play a lot of JRPG games like Kingdom Hearts, the Tales of series, and others, it makes a really cool, interesting, fun experience. Now, due to the microchip shortages, it won't actually be on the retail market because, yeah, again, as I said, they have a microchip shortage. And what Valve is going to be doing, so if you have already placed your reservation for any of the models, essentially you're going to be put on a mailing list. And and depending on the order of, you will essentially receive an email by Valve, and you will have a total of 72 hours to pre-order the device. Now, the device actually comes out on the 25th, which is actually the day of my real-world birthday, so there's that. However, again, if you go to Valve's main website, it actually says, like, if you reserve it, if you do place a $5 reservation, essentially you just have to wait till after Q2. And now I'm not a business type of person, so I don't really know how the whole quarter system is run. But essentially, it's like every couple months or every 3 months, it's a different quarter. So Q1 could be like January through March, and then the second quarter could be like April through May or June, and then, yeah, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Now, this morning, as I was on Facebook, I joined up with a community. Now, this is on my other Facebook page, I think under Core Sonic, and what I was writing about in the SteamDeck community was about how eventually in the future, once the micro shortages kind of stop and stuff like that, and all the manufacturing can goes back into process, more microchips and stuff for the Steam Deck and other consoles like the PS5, the Xbox Series S and X. Once that goes back, essentially, if Valve puts more advertisement on it, which it gets shown on everywhere, on YouTube or on television, even in retail, people will definitely go into getting it. And it may not be super popular after it releases, but I was saying like somewhere in the future between 3 to 5 years or so, eventually, it starts becoming a well talked about system, because obviously Valve is basically going to be giving Nintendo a competition. Now, on the Steam Deck community, a lot of people were telling me like, "Oh no, what are you talking about? This must be a joke." Because obviously, Nintendo is a well-known company and stuff like that. And, every non-gaming parent is going to go out and buy Nintendo Switch. And the Steam Deck is for, like, a niche audience, and a different niche audience and stuff like that. So mostly the adults will go and get it. However, I would like to point out that I think a lot of, once the Steam Deck starts getting more, more traction, gets advertisement more on cable networks, or, well, I'm not sure if anyone even uses cable, except for maybe parents, of course, because obviously anyone who was born in the 1980s still probably uses a TV still. But essentially, because I know most people are either on YouTube, on Twitch, whatever, once there's more more advertisements, then eventually it'll become a most talked about system. And then, just like with the way how it was Nintendo Switch, it will definitely, take off, and then it will become a popular console, just a popular hybrid console, just like with Nintendo Switch. Now, it may not happen immediately, but that is what's going to happen in the future. And then you're going to see some people with Nintendo Switches, some people with the Steam Deck. And then, for a novice who doesn't have one, you can decide if you want a Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch. Now, both of these hybrid consoles, well, I'm kind of considering the Steam Deck as a hybrid console because, it's an on-the-go handheld device, but it can also be used to just play at home on your TV. And you don't even need, like, an actual gaming desktop. Unless, of course, like your work, wherever you work, requires more data and gigabytes and stuff like that, then okay, then sure, I could definitely see how a gaming PC would make more sense in some shape or form. And I understand people's dilemma with like, but the Switch has first parties and third party games. Yeah, but that's not the reason. Okay, so Nintendo became popular since since back like the early 1990s to the early 2000s, because obviously Nintendo has a lot of recognizable first party characters. Mario is the most popular, Donkey Kong is the second, I think the third one is Zelda, and Splatoon is also another popular title because that's also first party. And Nintendo has a lot of first party titles, and that's what sells the Nintendo Switch, and that's what makes it popular. Now, if you go back to the Wii U days, people thought that the Wii U was an add-on to the Wii. They didn't think that the Wii U was basically a new console, because that was Nintendo's fault, because Nintendo did poor marketing on the system. Okay? That's the reason. But mostly, when a kid sees Mario on their TV screen and they see it on the Switch, that's when they associate Mario and Nintendo all together. And that's why most parents go out and get it for their kid. Not to mention, Nintendo is a family-friendly company, okay? They make games mostly aimed towards kids, but also to adults, okay? Back when I was younger, the first ever game I played was like back on the NES. My brothers and I, we would play like Super Mario Brothers, we would play Duck Hunt, we would play all sorts of games. Even Pac-Man. Granted, though, even though Pac-Man's a third-party series, it's a still well-known IP to pretty much Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo, they now own Bayonetta, because Bayonetta 3 is coming out soon anyways. And yeah, and that's why currently Nintendo's, and the other reason why Nintendo Switch is very popular is because it's really the only current gen console that's available in retail. Because if you think about the PS5, it's really hard to get your hands on PS5 because scalpers, the chip shortage, everything. Even with the Xbox Series X, it's even hard as well. And so you see my point. And with the Steam Deck, I understand it doesn't have a lot of first-party games. That is completely understandable. Because, the Steam Deck is, with Steam, it's known as pretty much a place to shop for games that are mostly third-party games and indie games. That's pretty much what it is. And yeah, and obviously, I know a lot of adults are going to pretty much play on the Steam Deck because, hey, we grew up in the 1980s and we grew up with playing games like Mario, but we also enjoy playing games during the younger days of PlayStation and Xbox. And it makes sense for all of us to just hop on to go on Steam or play with the Steam Deck, because we could now be able to take our Steam games anywhere on the go. Heck, there's a lot of accessories available for the Steam Deck. Like, let's see. You can have a portable monitor. You can use any controller. DualShock, Apicdo, let me see. Maybe like the next DualShock 5 controller from PS5. You could use an N64 controller. Even the Valve's actual, I'm not sure if they still make controllers, but they probably do. And there are going to be some kickstands available for you to carry, for you to use with your Steam Deck, even though I will give props to Nintendo for actually putting in a built-in kickstand with the Switch. Although the original Switch, the kickstand was kind of like a little bit finicky to deal with because it's just very tiny of a little kickstand, but it still makes sense. You know, there's a lot of things you can do with it, and you can also install different apps as well. And yeah, and there's also emulators. In truth, there's a lot of things that are going for the Steam Deck, and it comes out next week. And you know, I'm very excited, and I know like a lot of people are really pretty much, I think, like getting tired of, I think, playing on Nintendo Switch. Though I know people pretty much are going only play. I mean, some people play the Nintendo Switch for both first parties and third parties. But most of the time, if you want to play on Nintendo Switch, you're playing because of the awesome exclusives that you can only, for the most part, get on Nintendo Switch. Yes, you could do the same thing on PlayStation, but PlayStation is currently they're bringing on their exclusives, their first-party titles to Steam. So, yeah, I mean, there's already God of War 2016 on Steam, so if you want to play it, you can just play on Steam. You wouldn't need to worry about playing it on a PS5. Granted, yes, there's there are impressive visuals on the PS5. I'm not talking to anybody who's currently enjoying their PS5, but that's just how I look at it. And yes, at first I was gonna get the PS5, but then I'm like, if I'm currently gaming on a PC, there's a lot of fun games for me to play on PC. And not to mention, again, as I said, it's really hard to get your hands on a PS5 these days. It really just is. So, yeah, that's my whole thing. And so for now, like, the Nintendo Switch is really the top dog in terms of hardware sales. But once, the Steam Deck starts gaining some popularity, it'll start hitting store shelves, in which case, then, of course, if a kid hears about the Steam Deck and all the fun features, that may convince the child to convince their mom or their grandmother or grandparents to go out and get them a Steam Deck. Because, hey, it is what it is. And that's gonna be a competition for Nintendo. And yeah, and then once Nintendo sees that, they're gonna basically, try to make the next upgrade to the Switch. I know that there's there's still some rumors about the Switch 2 that's supposed to be coming out soon, but not really an actual word about that yet. I mean, the Nintendo Switch OLED, it was supposed to be the next installment, like the biggest upgrade to Nintendo Switch, but turns out it wasn't, because everybody was expecting the OLED to literally be a 4K device, but it really just has all the same exact specs as what the original has, except that with a 7-inch screen. So yeah, it's really just a console with a much more bigger screen. That's really what it is. It still has all the same features. It has, the eShop, it has the eShop, Nintendo Switch Online, it has all those things. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my whole take on the Steam Deck. I'm really excited for it. I think it's gonna be a really, really impressive thing. Linus, if you haven't seen what it actually looks like, I'll show you a picture right here. You can also go on Linus Tech Tips. He actually does a whole entire breakdown of the hardware, and he too says that the Steam Deck is a very, very impressive hardware. Although he did say that the Steam Deck has some very bad, very poor haptic feedback. But to me, honestly, I don't really care about the vibrations, because the second, I play a new game, I just turn vibrations off. I don't like the aesthetic and the feel of my controller having a seizure. It really it really feels off. Like, literally. It's like a mini earthquake is happening inside the controller, and I just do not like the feel of it. I know other people probably do enjoy it, but to me, personally, I don't like it. Okay? So, yeah, if you're, if you already casted your pre-order for, for the Steam Deck, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. What are you, what's your first game you're going to plan on playing on it? I'm still trying to decide. I'm trying to decide if I want to play Kingdom Hearts 2 on it. Though, granted, I'm going to have to find some way to download it. I know I can probably get it from the game store. I did read somewhere online that there's a third-party website where you can actually get it. So, and I know it's only on Epic Game Store, which I currently haven't installed on my PC, but other than that, honestly, maybe playing Persona 5 or one of my past Tales games. I know Tales of Rise has already been verified, so it's actually compatible with the Steam Deck, so I may probably look into playing Tales of Arise. Probably me being my first game. Scarlet Nexus is another one, so there's also that as well as some other ones that I can't think of the top of my head. I know Devil May Cry 5 is one. I know Linus Tech Tips did one showing off Forza Horizon 5. He said it was like a very, very, very terrible. The loading times of it, but the game looked impressive on the Steam Deck, but then again, I think that's actually just due to the limitations of whatever. I forget who the developers for Forza are, but I think that was what they kind of did. But I'm sure there's something with when it comes to playing Forza Horizon. I'm sure there's some way to get it to run faster. Not sure what exactly, but yeah. So there's a lot of there's over 300 games that currently have been announced and verified that are compatible with the Steam Deck. So you'll get to play at least, I think so far, 80 to 90% of Steam games Steam's catalog list of games that you'll get to play on the Steam Deck. And there's more that are still being verified, so look forward to hearing some more stuff. I've actually read some things from Polygon, VG247, and all that. So yeah, definitely look at those sites. Now I know some of those sites are really kind of like terrible, because some of them can really just be opinion pieces, but you gotta just go with, finding information that's newsworthy about the product. All right. But other than that, feel free to leave comments in the comment section down below. If you're new to this channel, definitely hit the subscribe button. And of course, feel free to hit the bell icon as well if you want to just stay updated and everything. I've also posted my Facebook link in the description, so you wanna follow me on Facebook, you can. I'm not gonna really use Twitter because I'm gonna just stay away from that trash fire of a website. And also too, I don't really agree with everything that the CEO of Twitter is doing, nor am I not gonna really associate myself with the people over on Twitch anymore. I mean Twitter. Sorry, not Twitch. I meant Twitter. Yeah, I'm not gonna use Twitter at all. Mostly gonna just either stay with Facebook or just make videos just on here in general. So just come back as much as possible. All right. With that, this has been Core Games, Game Rants and Streams, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.